who is ready to judge humanity based on today's Star Trek game, Star Trek Strategic Operations Simulator for your Atari 2600. Let's see, it came with an exclusive combat control panel overlay. Oh, and what do you know? I have one right here. And you flip it, you put it on the Atari 2600 joystick, and it doesn't really sit very well, at least not on this joystick. Oh well, got the overlay on my joystick. Let's take the cartridge, pop it in my Atari 7800 Pro system, and see how it holds up today. Let's go to the game. Star Trek Strategic Operations Simulator was published by Sega and carries a copyright year of 1983. It is based on their arcade game, which came out about a year earlier, possibly to try to benefit from the release of the greatest of all Star Trek movies, Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. The manual opens with the following. You are the potential captain of the USS Enterprise. Your training mission? Save the Federation from their most powerful enemy, Nomad. There are 6 rounds of action-packed adventure. Fight off marauding Klingons and menacing antimatter saucers. Destroy them before they destroy you, or they will deplete your strategy training units. Dock with your star bases to replenish your weapons and repair your damages. The longer you survive, the more space dangers you'll encounter. Maneuver through perilous fields of asteroids and blazing meteors. Store your energy, sharpen your navigational skills, prepare for the ultimate challenge. Destroy the deadly mine-laying Nomad. If you're successful, proceed deeper into space for more Star Trek action. 10 different skill levels of unparalleled adventure. Do you dare to venture where no video game has gone before? Be brave, be bold, be daring, but beware. Star Trek Strategic Operations Simulator is a single-player space shooter with one standard mode of difficulty. The game takes place in 6 phases. 2 Klingon encounters, followed by an asteroid field or meteor shower, followed by 2 more Klingon encounters, followed by a showdown with Nomad, a space probe from the original series that turned into a deadly Terminator. Your screen has a lot going on. On the top is your score. On the top left is gauges, with your remaining energy shields on top, followed by your photon torpedoes, followed by your warp drives on the bottom. On the top right is your radar, and on the bottom is your viewer. The included overlay helps show you how to control the game. You hold down the button to fire your phasers. You have an unlimited supply of those. You press up to activate the thrust, pushing the Enterprise forward in whatever direction it is facing. Left and right is used to turn. You can also use the upper diagonals to move forward while turning. Pressing down will activate a photon torpedo that can destroy more than one enemy at a time, however it is difficult to use. Holding down the button while pressing down will activate your warp drive, helping you get out of sticky situations, although just like the photon torpedoes, it can be difficult to use as well. During the Klingon phases, you encounter 2 types of Klingons. Red Klingon ships will focus on attacking star bases. If they destroy the star base, they will turn white and try to collide with you. Purple Klingon ships will target the Enterprise itself. Yellow antimatter saucers can also appear. They will try to attach to the Enterprise to drain your warp drives. During this phase, you can touch a starbase 1 time each to regain 1 photon torpedo, 1 warp drive, and 1 shield, but if you touch one, you won't earn extra points when the phase ends. Once you clear the area of all the Klingons, you move on to whatever the next phase is. After the first 2 Klingon phases, you move on either to an asteroid field or a meteor shower, the main difference being that meteors move faster than the Enterprise. Your goal here is to replenish supplies by touching starbases while avoiding collisions with the meteors or asteroids. After this phase, you face 2 more Klingon phases, and then Nomad himself. Unfortunately, you cannot convince Nomad that he made an error, so you must blast him with your phasers while avoiding his fire and the mines he sets up. Defeat Nomad, and you will return to the first Klingon phase at increased difficulty. If at any time you run out of shields, future damage will drain you of either your warp drives or your photon torpedoes. If you are hit when you have absolutely nothing shown in your gauges, you will be defeated and your game will end. Points in this game are called strategy training units. Scoring is based on what you do and how far into the game you've made it. Graphically speaking, this is a very nice looking Atari 2600 game and also features some very nice sounds and a great 2600 rendition of the Star Trek theme. Family friendly wise, the game would most likely get an E for everyone rating it for release today. Currently at pricecharting.com, the game has a value of $14 loose, $30 complete, and $34 new. So what do I think of Star Trek Strategic Operations Simulator for the Atari 2600? On a technical level, this is a very impressive game. It looks and sounds great and crams a lot onto the screen. However, the gameplay was not nearly as impressive. The original arcade game featured a rotary knob and 4 different buttons, but when you cram all of that into a single button joystick, you will lose something. I found using the photon torpedoes and warp drives more trouble than they were worth. I also found it easier to play the game focusing mostly on the radar screen, which worked well, but it also meant I spent most of my time staring at a small portion of the screen trying to aim at very small objects. And honestly, it's not that much fun, which is kinda sad since I am a Star Trek fan and it does look and sound really good. Personally, I think it would have been better if they made a Star Raider style game rather than try to cram the arcade version into a cartridge. But as it is, it just isn't enjoyable enough for me to want to play much more in the future. So where am I going to rank Star Trek? Since I base my rankings based on how enjoyable I find the game, and since I didn't enjoy spending most of my time staring at a tiny part of the screen, it's going to be fairly low. I'm looking near James Bond at the 191 position, another game I had high hopes for that let me down. And I will say Bond is more frustrating to play, and that Star Trek is more enjoyable. So the 229 games are now ranked for the Atari 2600, Star Trek is warping into the 191 position. Star Trek looks great and sounds great, but just isn't that much fun to play. However, that's just my opinion. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Also, please like, share, and subscribe, and click the bell so you don't miss any future videos. At this time, I'd like to thank fellow YouTuber Gray Defender for supporting the show on Patreon. If you would like to sign up to support the show and gain access to exclusive perks, please go to patreon.com/NoSwearGamer. Thank you for giving me a little part of your day, and I look forward to see you next time on the next episode of the No Swear Gamer. Take care, and if your Atari 2600 game needs a joystick overlay to play, you might want to rethink it.